Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reacting to the 2024 NFL Honors Awards. We're going to be going through every single award from the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. We're going to talk about the Comeback Player of the Year because that one's a little bit controversial. And then a little side note, some other little awards we might talk about: the Assistant Coach of the Year, Rushing Leader, and all this different kind of awards that were kind of introduced throughout it, and also Walton Payton Man of the Year Award. Like I said, we're going to kind of go through, review each award, talk about is the person who won it deserving or not. There was a bunch of Cleveland Browns people winning the awards in this award show, and I'm not gonna lie, as a Browns fan, I'm excited, but there's some other people that are a little bit chippy, little pissed off about it, like how the fuck this guy win, he shouldn't have won, and we're gonna talk about it. So without further ado, if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, before we go any further, I'm going to put a link to this guy's Twitter down in the description down below. This is where I was getting kind of all my results, because as you know, we know who won the awards, but this actually shows you guys the voting points of like first place votes, second place votes, third place votes, and then kind of how the total was kind of put together, because people were wondering like how the hell this guy win, how the hell this guy win, this guy had more first place votes maybe, but it's all confusing, and this guy kind of puts it in the perspective of how everything was put, and you can see right here. There's a lot of different people that could have voted for awards, and it kind of goes more in depth. That way you get a better understanding. So first up, as you can already see, we have Assistant Coach of the Year. Like I said, we got Jim Schwartz, my boy, defensive coordinator for the Browns, won that award. Very well deserving. He was able to transform the defense. Anybody who disagrees with this award is just fucking stupid. Some people said Ben Johnson should have gotten it. Maybe you could agree with that. Mike McDonald, maybe. But then again, the Ravens defense is always good, so why would he get it? Ben Johnson, I maybe could, like I said, I can see that. I would have probably voted for Ben Johnson if Jim Schwartz was not our defensive coordinator and not up for the award. Bobby Slowick, maybe he could have been voted for it because from what he did with the Texans, transforming them. I think ultimately it kind of came down to Jim Schwartz, Ben Johnson, and Bobby Slowick. Ultimately, it got given to Jim Schwartz because of just the way how he transformed that defense, made them just something better. Even though we kind of been talking about over the past couple years about they are a good defense on paper, they have the talent. They just need somebody to come in there and lead the troop. And Jim Schwartz came in there and led the troops, and he deserved the award. Next up, we got AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, CJ Stroud, very well deserving. 48-2 is very surprising to me. There were some people saying that Puka Nacua should have gotten the award because of the rookie records he broke for receiving and catches. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be more of like a 20-30 split for like first place votes, and then from there it can kind of go the way however way you want it. The fact that it was literally like an even split of like 48-2 on first place and second place votes with just CJ Stroud and Puka Nacua is pretty nuts to me. But one thing people need to realize when it comes to Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year for offense and defense, it's ultimately going to be a quarterback for the Offensive Player of the Year. Everybody needs to realize that when it comes to MVP and Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's generally going to be a quarterback, especially if a quarterback goes out there and balls out. If a rookie quarterback goes out there and just does an average year, usually it's going to be a position player like a receiver or running back. But in this case, CJ Stroud, he gets it. And side note, I'm also an Ohio State fan if you did not know, so I rooted for CJ Stroud to win this award. Congratulations, Puka Nacua. You had a great year. Don't let this disgruntle you. Do not let it do anything like that. You had a great season. You're going to keep on doing great things with the Rams. But CJ Stroud, he's a quarterback. He's going to win the award. Next up, we got AP Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett winning the award. This one got a little controversial. People don't like this. People hate this. People thought it should have been TJ Watt's award to win. When you look at the total, 23-19 on first place votes for Myles Garrett. TJ Watt was right there. He got about 140 points compared to 165 points. Micah Parsons was also kind of up there. Max Crosby kind of got some votes. And then from there, you kind of have a bunch of other different people. And people were ripping into the NFL Honors Committee, basically saying, how the hell did this happen? The voters were stupid. They should not have voted Myles Garrett. Did you look at the stats, the last 5 games of the season, all this bullshit? I want to point out some things to you people. Stats are not just the only thing we look at when it comes to a player winning an award. You look at how they played. Did they impact the game a different way? When we look at Myles Garrett, triple team, quadruple team, most of the last half of the season. I'm telling you now, you go look at the last like 5 or 6 games of the season. You show me 10 or more times a game where Myles Garrett was not getting at least double teamed, because it was very rare when we saw Myles Garrett go one-on-one, and when he was one-on-one, it's because that ball was getting snapped and handed off to the running back, or snapped and quickly thrown to like a slant route, something like that. And in these posts where it talks about Myles Garrett winning the award, people were dropping TJ Watt highlights of him getting all his sacks, and last time I checked, the very first sack in that highlight, one-on-one. The second sack, one-on-one. The next sack, one-on-one. I'm telling you now, if you put Myles Garrett one-on-one, he's going to get some sacks. You look at the way he got some of his sacks this year. One-on-one going against just one-on-one on tackle. And then I find it even funny that literally a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, he put out this tweet. There was somebody out here saying another NFL rig job. Imagine looking at this and giving the guy on the left the award because he's never won it before. And you look at the stats, you're going to look at, oh, TJ Watt has great stats, Micah Parsons kind of close there, and then Myles Garrett kind of has a little bit of a drop off compared to these two. Literally right after that tweet was sent out, like I think 20 minutes after, Micah Parsons is supposed to be getting ready for the NFL Honor Show, and he puts out this tweet saying, horrible take, Myles was the better player. Reality of the situation, Myles faced way more double teams and affected on more quarterback. Fans, please stop looking at stats and please look at the film. And he's not wrong. You look at the film, Myles Garrett was impacted in the games. It's just he was getting so much double team and triple team. How the hell is he supposed to ever get to a quarterback? Like, you look at the Colts game, you look at the Ravens game, you look at the Titans game, the Bengals game. There were so many times where he impacted the game. And then people want to talk about, oh, if TJ Watt was on the Steelers, they would be absolutely nothing on defense. That's how important he is to their defense. You take Myles Garrett off of our defense is shit. Like I said, I will agree this was a little bit controversial, but Myles Garrett well deserved to win the Defensive Player of the Year. Next up, we got AP Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson won the award. I understand why he won the award. Very well deserved. Won it with the Texans. He was a very important piece for their defense. I'm not gonna lie, I thought maybe like a Jalen Carter was gonna win it. Midway point of the season, I thought he had that award on wrap. I thought maybe Devin Witherspoon might have won the award, but then things kind of got a little bit chippy. Well, Anderson started making a comeback, and I think he deserves it. Jalen Carter had a strong start to the season, but then he kind of slowed down in the middle part of the season, and then from there, it's just like he was like really nowhere to be seen. And you look at the film, and he got some one-on-one attacks against some D-tack or against some offensive linemen, and he just couldn't really do much. It's almost like he came into the season where everybody thought he was going to be like this game wrecker, and he was. But then things kind of slowed down, and he wasn't really doing much. And it kind of had to do a lot with the way the Eagles were just like slowing down. Whereas Will Anderson, when you watch him play, he was ramping up a lot, and he was just kicking ass the whole season. But like I said, you could have gone either way, Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, whichever way you wanted to go. It was 16-14 split on the first place votes. You could have gone either way, and then on Kobe Turner, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really surprised he got votes. He probably, I know he had a good year, but Will Anderson and Jalen Carter were like the two main people talked about, and also something that you have to realize, it's a popularity contest. When it comes to winning these awards, if you're not popular, you're not going to win the award. But like I said, well deserved for Will Anderson. He deserves it, in my opinion. Next up, we got Coach of the Year, and this one couldn't have been more split right down the fucking middle. We had Kevin Stefanski winning the award. Like I said, I'm a Browns fan. I'm excited. He won it with a 165 to 165 tie on votes, but the only reason he won the award was because of that one first place vote. Believe it or not, that's literally the only reason he won. I had to kind of go look, and I was like, okay, so how do they decide who won the award? It's because of that one first place votes, because you're going to look at it and be like, man, you got 3 more second place votes. Shouldn't that kind of help you? But then Kevin got a bunch of third place votes, and then that one first place vote kind of does put him over the edge. And I saw people in the comments of like a whole bunch of different posts and tweets and comments on like Instagram and Twitter, people saying, how the fuck did Kevin get it? Dan Campbell led his team to the NFC title game. Kyle Shanahan led his team to the Super Bowl. People, it's a regular season award. Regular season. Playoffs don't mean shit. It's a regular season award. The second week 17 or week 18 cuts and the season's over and teams are getting ready for playoffs, that's where your stats and everything you've done stops. And when you look at all these teams, DeMeco Ryans, if he would have won the award, fine, I accept that. I honestly probably would have voted for him to win the award because it's just what they did. But then when you kind of look at things and you look at how their season went, you have the offensive rookie of the year in CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud also could have very well won the MVP this year if he didn't get injured, and he probably would have kept on putting up the same stats that he was. They could have very well won MVP. So DeMeco Ryans having the MVP caliber quarterback kind of puts things into perspective, and then people talk about DeMeco beat Kevin Stefanski in the playoffs. In the playoffs, not regular season. Last time I checked, Kevin Stefanski beat DeMeco Ryans in the regular season. And for the people that are going to say, well, DeMeco didn't have CJ Stroud at the time. Kevin didn't have Deshaun Watson, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, or PJ Walker. He was on his 4th quarterback, and Joe fucking Flacco. The man went through 5, to be honest, 5 quarterbacks, and Jeff Driscoll, whatever his name was. He went through 5 quarterbacks, realistically 4 quarterbacks, throughout the whole entire regular season. No man should be able to even make the playoffs or come near 8 and 9, 7 and 10 with that kind of roster. And the amount of offensive line that were hurt, for the love of God. I think we had like 4 or 5 offensive linemen go down. Defensive guys go down. Denzel Ward was out for multiple weeks. Anthony Walker went down for a long ass time, and then he ended up ending the season on IR. Grant Delpit went down midway through the season. Juan Thornhill was battling injuries. Oh my god, I can't even name all the injuries. And the fact that we still made the playoffs is just mind-boggling. Like I said, Dan Campbell had a great year. He could have very well won this award, but I think the way how Kevin Stefanski had to go above and beyond to muster this way into the playoffs, he very well deserved that award. Next up, we got AP Offensive Player of the Year. Do I really need to debate? I think it's Christian McCaffrey. I'm pretty sure people wanted him to win MVP award, but we all know it's a quarterback award. We'll get into that in a minute. Tyreek Hill came in a close second. I thought he could have won it, but I think with the way how things were going, if Christian McCaffrey was in position to possibly win an MVP award, Tyreek Hill probably would have won the Offensive Player of the Year. award. With the way the season started and the way the middleweight play of the season was going, Tyreek Hill could have very well won this award. He looked like he was going to go for 2,000 yards and do all these great things. But when he got hurt, went out for a few weeks, then it was a little bit of a slow second half of the season. The stats were not really there, and he wasn't really making much of an impact as well. You saw the first half of the season, like I said, he was always getting open. In the second half of the season, it's like this Miami Dolphins team. I think the whole team just kind of impacted the way that things went. They were not doing things well. The whole thing just kind of, the whole ship just kind of gone off to the side, and Tyreek Hill just almost became like a distant thought in everybody's game plan. Because I've seen literally posts online where people were saying, it seems like Tyreek Hill, like he starts off every year so good, but then the second half of the season, he just turns into a ghost. Now, could that be a little bit of what Tua Tagovailoa is doing? Maybe, but like I said, Christian McCaffrey, very well deserved. He deserved that award. I was actually surprised he was at the award show last night. I thought he would have been still with the 49ers getting ready for the game, but he came to the award show. Pretty cool. We got Comeback Player of the Year. Joe Flacco won the award. I don't know how this happened. Somebody tell me in the comments. Any other year, if you would have told me Joe Flacco won the award or like a Baker Mayfield won the award, I would have been like, fine, cool, awesome, great pick. But I'm looking at the count and Damar Hamlin not getting the vote. That surprises me. Like, I went into the award show just thinking, when they said, okay, for Comeback Player of the Year, they were showing all the finalists. And I was like, oh, cool, Joe Flacco, Damar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, oh, Matthew Stafford. I immediately was like, why are they showing these other guys? Just give it to Damar Hamlin. And then whenever they said Joe Flacco, I was like, huh? Like, again, I'm a Browns fan. Congratulations, Joe Flacco. Good job. But in the way of how things were going, everybody, and I mean everybody and their mama, thought Damar Hamlin was going to win this award. The analysts were all saying, it's going to be Damar Hamlin. The way how he came back from death, people. How did he not win the award? I don't know about you, but that was the one that was, I'm a little debatable. That one's debatable, and that should not have been Joe Flacco. Like I said, if this would have been any other year and Damar Hamlin didn't unalive last year, I would have said Joe Flacco or Baker Mayfield probably could have won that award very easily, one of them two. But with Damar Hamlin being here, how did he not win it? And I realize people are going to say the debate, and I've said it a few times, well, he's kind of got to, play the game to win the award. And somebody put up a funny kind of tweet, a little bit funny, not really funny, but they were showing his stats, and it was like, his whole entire stats for the year was 2 tackles, 1 fake punt miss where he didn't get the first down there in the divisional round game, and 1 12-man on the field whenever they lost to the Broncos. That's kind of his whole stat line for the year. That's not really Comeback Player of the Year material. When you look at Baker Mayfield, his career was supposed to be done for. Tampa Bay was his last resort. He resurrected his career. Joe Flacco, he's supposed to be just retired now. He coming to Cleveland and just goes out there and completely fucking balls out. Like I said, I would have given my vote to Damar Hamlin, but Joe Flacco, well deserved. And now we have MVP, Lamar Jackson. I'm surprised he got the 49 and not 50. People said Josh Allen got a vote, and I was surprised. I was like, there's no fucking way. And then I saw it, and I was like, why? Like, I really want to know who was that vote holder that voted for Josh Allen. But moving forward, we got Lamar Jackson won the award, 493 points. Dak Prescott came in a close second, or not really close second, but he came in second, kind of close. 152 votes. I see why. Christian McCaffrey, I'm surprised he got less than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, I thought he probably could have won it kind of moving as the season was going on, but then he had a slow kind of last like 2 or 3 games. That game against the Detroit Lions, he slowed up. He had like a few completions that got him a big chunk yards, kind of made his stats better. It was a really weird vote to kind of do. And then we obviously knew when Lamar Jackson was going to pick up the pace towards the end of the season. When he beat Brock Purdy and the 49ers, that pretty much solidified himself to win the MVP. And like I said, if Brock Purdy would have beaten Lamar Jackson in that game on Christmas Day, he could have very well won the MVP, but with the way things went, not going to happen. Like I said earlier, CJ Stroud could have very well won MVP, as you can see. The man very well could have won it. Josh Allen, I understand why some people voted for him for MVP. He just didn't. The way the season went, when they replaced the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady came in, the offense kind of switched more to a dominant run game, and Josh Allen wasn't like the focal point. That's when I think votes kind of started pulling away. But like I said, Lamar Jackson, very well deserved. I think I would have obviously voted for him. I think Lamar Jackson was the correct vote, and anybody who says otherwise, you need to watch some film. And the last thing we're going to talk about, Walter Payton Man of the Year, Cam Hayward from the Pittsburgh Steelers won it. Congratulations. I think it was a great pick. I think he should have won it. He does so many great things in the community, does so many great things. Pittsburgh, all around the world, all around the country, helps out with kids, helps out with a whole bunch of different people. Very well deserved. I mean, there's this whole article here where he kind of talks about all the different things he's done. So I'll put a link to this also down in the description. It's from NFL.com. So like I said, if you want to check it out, I'm kind of scrolling here. If you want to go check it out, I'll put it down in the description. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Like I said, these were all the awards. There's some controversial ones. There's some ones that I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. And then there's some towards like, I don't agree with that at all. And then there's some like the Lamar Jackson one where it's like, yep, that's perfect. I'm not saying I completely agree with all of them. I'm not saying I completely disagree with all of them. I'm just saying there's some that I like, some that I'm okay with, and some that it's like, why the fuck did you do that? But other than that, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go and enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, if you think a certain player or coach or whoever should have won an award that did not win the award, if you think TJ Watt should have won over Myles Garrett, if you think D'Amico Ryan should have won over Kevin Stefanski, if you think Lamar shouldn't have won the MVP award and you want to start controversy in my comment section, like I said, leave a comment down below on who you think should have won all these awards, and if you have a different opinion from what I said and from what the voters said, like I said, leave your opinion down there. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. Do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.